Hello friends. So this month I actually did better than last month when it came to reading. I read one more book than last, so that makes my total of 4. And this is just going to be a nice little wrap up of everything I read in November and then everything I hope to read in December. And in the middle I'm going to add a little aesthetic moments, some moments of zen. And maybe I'll start talking about like maybe a few of my favorite things throughout the month. I don't know where this is gonna go. I just know I kind of like this formatting of a nice little summary of the month and then all my hopes and dreams for next month. So let's get started. I'm just gonna start with my first book. Okay, so I initially wanted to read this in October, but I don't know what happened in October. I really don't. I couldn't tell you. But I decided this was going to be my first book in November. It's a YA novel. So it's about a girl and her mom. Don't worry, I'm not going to give any spoilers. But it's about a girl and her mom who have to move across the country in an old house that her mom has ownership of because it used to be her grandmother's and so on and so forth. They move because the mom's husband and the girl's father passes away and they have no other choice but to move away. And of course it's classic, it's spooky old house with secrets and weird family history and everything. I really had high hopes for it. I enjoyed the pacing as I was reading it. I liked, it had a very slow build up. It kind of would go like normal life, something kind of weird. Oh well, on to normal life, something weird again, on to more normal life, something weird again. Kind of really natural progression, you know? So the main thing is with this book, it plays into the, is it like mental illness? Is it how we're dealing with grief? Or is there like a ghost? Unfortunately, all these high hopes that I had for this book kind of fell short. So I usually classify YA as meteor YA. That's more like you're going into adult fiction. And then YA, that's more at the beginning level, so you're kind of coming right out of juvenile into a young adult, and it just didn't have the meat in there for me, and it was very easy to guess what happened and what the secret was and all that. So I was kind of like near the end, I was like, yeah, like I knew, like I got it, like I figured it out. It wasn't that hard to figure out. But it was an okay book. It was very well written. I did enjoy the way it was written, and I enjoyed the pacing, and I liked the style. I liked the premise. I really liked how the author presented roses as being kind of menacing. I like that. I like the juxtaposition between what your natural thoughts are for flowers and then what happens in this book. So I liked that. Other than that, I gave it like a 2.5 to 3 because I'm never going to read it again, and I'm not particularly wowed by it, and the ending really left me kind of like, felt like, oh, that's it. Cool, great, thanks. But then you know what? I'm not mad about it because I read something out of my normal genre. I don't read a lot of YA. So, I mean, if you like horror, and if, in my opinion, you like lighter reads, like quicker reads with not a lot of, I don't want to say description because I'm not going to say this book wasn't vivid in its own way. They're just, for writing, it wasn't a lot of meat in the sandwich, if that makes sense. But meh. For me, I'm more of an adult thriller, classic horror reader, so this just didn't do it for me. The next book that I read was The Proposal by Jasmine Guillory. I'm gonna say that's how you pronounce it. That's what I'm gonna say. But of course it's a part of a series. You don't have to read it in perfect order because everything will still make sense as far as I'm aware. But This is like the second in the series. The first is the wedding date. I really liked the premise. So a girl is blindsided at a LA Dodgers game where her boyfriend, loose terms, proposes to her on the Jumbotron, and like they never even said I love you. They were kind of more so like a friends with benefits, like a way to pass the time. And of course she rejects him, but then everything, like the media, everyone in the stands is like against her because she said no, and she seemed like, you know, an ungrateful woman for saying no to this beautiful man who went the extra mile, but in reality that's not the case. But thanks to that proposal, she meets a very charming pediatric doctor. Well, maybe he's not pediatric, but he runs a teen clinic. He's a doctor. Neither of them really like traditional relationships, but it kind of turns into more because they just click very well. So, I mean, I really like the style. I love the characters because, for once, oh my god, what? People of color and romantic leads. Unheard of in the grand scheme of freaking fiction, and especially romance, which is a shame. So I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the premise. The only thing that really fell through for me was it felt like there wasn't much of a conflict. You know, there wasn't that big like, no, we can't be together. There's not that dramatic flair. It was kind of just like a little misunderstanding, a little bit of, you said something too early, I'm not ready to admit that, blah, 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 blah. It felt very easily, it felt like it came to terms really easily. So you couldn't, it didn't even tease me with a resolution for very long. Which, I mean, if that's your thing, if you're like good for like it feeling like a happily ever after the entire time, this is a great pick for you. And I will definitely be picking up all of the other books in the series. Yeah, if you're like a lover of contemporary romance, definitely pick up anything by this author, especially if you want to support diverse authors as well as stories with diverse characters who are what? Fully dimensional. No way, they're not just tokens. Oh my god, what? Also, it was an interracial relationship in this, which I really found refreshing too, because a lot of times in mainstream media, for some reason as if I'm part of media, but I am a consumer of media, so it is my fault too. But a lot of time in media, movies, TV shows, and books, they think interracial means someone of color with a white person, and that's just not it. It can be all different races and ethnicities can make an interracial relationship. Unheard of, right? What craziness! Anyway, highly recommend this if you're a romance reader, if you're looking for a nice, easy, happy-go-lucky, happily ever after with some spice, you know, and then also some really good humor. Highly recommend the proposal, and then hopefully I can highly recommend everything in this series, but I'm gonna go ahead and suggest and recommend the author Jasmine Guillory. So, on to the next. So, I read another contemporary romance this month. Shocking, I know. And it was a sequel to Well Met, which is Well Played by Jen DeLuca. I absolutely loved Well Met. So it centers on a Renaissance fair. That's what the titles come from. It comes from phrases commonly used in Renaissance fairs and like medieval language, things like that. And the titles come into the storyline as well. But Well Met was the first one, and I absolutely fell in love with it. Thank you, Julia, for suggesting that to me, or I never would have read it or found it. And I've been waiting forever for the sequel, but I didn't like it. I started reading this and I turned to my husband, I'm like, I don't like this book as very much either. And that really kind of makes 3 out of 4 books I didn't feel wowed by this month. But oh well, I am happy to have read them, and I am happy to have found the proposal and find that whole series, because I'm sure Maybe it's just that plot line or that storyline style just isn't my cup of tea, and maybe other ones will. What are you gonna do? A book can't please everyone, so, and I'm not gonna be all like, this book sucks and it's terrible, no one should read it. I'm just gonna say it's not my thing. This one was not my thing, mainly because I did not enjoy the romantic lead. I did not see him. I feel like he just wasn't amped up to be really swoon-worthy or particularly romantic. And it's not because the romance mostly is built up through like text and an email relationship, very long distance. He's just not, I didn't feel like I got a full in-color picture of him and who he was. He's kind of catfishing her for most of the relationship. He lies twice in it, and I just don't like it. I don't like that. If it was me, I'm not, if someone catfished me, I'm not gonna find them as a potential partner. And I think that's what really like hit that nail in that coffin of this book for me. That, and it also just kind of felt like Stacy couldn't have her own agency until she really fell in love with him, with Daniel. And that's because the whole book, she's talking about how she feels stuck and she's not living a full life. Everyone else around her has their own things, families, they're married, they have kids. Well, I like the idea of having a character feel this way. It's very relatable, but she didn't feel like she could, to me, the impression was like she didn't seem like she felt like she could move on or go on and start her own life until she started falling for Daniel. Jen DeLuca, like, God bless her soul, I think she realized that it was written and it's gonna be implied that way when people read it, and she tried to like fix it, but for me it just wasn't there. Spoilers! Okay, so what happens is she ends up forgiving Daniel, and they live a life on the road for the Renaissance Fair, and they travel all across the country with Daniel's family band. Cool. Here's how I would have had it. I would have loved Stacy realizing that she loves the Renaissance Fair so much that she wants that to be her career. She wants her life to revolve around that. And I wish she had just done it on her own accord of starting some business and doing the Renaissance Fair circuit on her own. I wish that while she was doing that circuit, making it on her own, doing her own thing, finding who she is, she then maybe fixed the relationship with Daniel and gotten a relationship with him, or had fallen in love with him during those travels. Something in that nature, I feel like, would have came off way more romantic for me personally, because I don't, the moment that ounce of agency goes to I can't start my life until I've fallen in love with someone is just gone for me. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I don't see how it fell short. It fell very short for me personally. If you like romance, if you are missing the Renaissance Fair, if you're into more contemporary storylines with romance, a little more modern, younger protagonists, things like that, obviously we have a relationship that is long distance that's taking place mostly through text and email. If that's your shtick, you might like it a lot more than me. You know, maybe if you are someone who had a long distance relationship, this might be your cup of tea more than it is mine. I'm not hating on you. I'm just me, and my experiences and my beliefs are going to impact the way I interpret something I read and whether I like it or not. It's going to be different for you, and that's fine. I don't care. I'm just sitting here talking to my phone. For what point? I don't know. I don't know. Now let's move on. Practical Magic, which was on my TBR hopefuls for last month, and I actually read it. I'm so happy. Pretty sure Well Played was too, although can't remember yesterday's. Who knows? I could be wrong. Anyway, obviously we all know Alice Hoffman is an amazing author, amazing writer. And reading this, it just solidifies that fact for me. It's just so richly written. Like, that's the best way to describe it. It feels a little long-winded, but in a great way. Like, you just keep following this tapestry of description and of this world and of these girls' lives, and then somehow she's weaved you, and it's 20 years later, and you didn't even blink. She has such a unique and beautiful way of having time pass in this book, and it's amazing. It's like witchcraft, honestly. It's not like the movie, but that doesn't mean it's bad, okay? Obviously, there's less plot in the movie than there is in this book. There's way more things happening in here than in the movie. The practical magic girls, gays and days, I know. I hear you. And I understand. Okay? It's different. It is. But it's still really good. It's not like the movie. You know, Stevie Nicks isn't playing while you read it, although you could just play it yourself. That might help. But don't get mad at this book. I thought I might get mad at it, but it's, as long as you treat it like a separate entity, you're still gonna enjoy it. If you love the movie, this is it. If you're on Witch Talk, I recommend this book. If you wear all black, I recommend this book. I recommend this book just to anyone who wants to read anything. This book. This one right here. Okay? Okay, I'm glad we had this talk. I'm gonna stop talking about this book because I feel like I'm rambling and I feel like this has gone on way too long. But since it's a November wrap-up, I am going to now play some moments of Zen, and then I'm going to go ahead and just talk about what I'm hoping to read next month. Well, hello again. I hope those moments brought you some peace. Otherwise, I'm just wasting my time. But anyways, I just kind of want to talk about my TBR list for December. I'm going to consider them hopefuls because, let's be real, I can't read everything all the time. And sometimes you have books in your TBR that you really want to read, but they just don't match maybe the vibe that or the energy you have for the next month, you know, so it just doesn't match, so you just don't want to read it. And like, I'm not going to force myself to read anything. I'm not going to waste my time being miserable. So, all right, let's start with the first book I hope to read. So, I have started this. It's All I Want for Christmas by Wendy Loggia? Don't know. It is a YA novel. It's very, very short. But my coworker read it, and I kind of put it on hold for both of us because we both have been like wanting to get in the Christmas spirit. I've been holding off on my Christmassy books just to like really make December just concentrated cheer. But I'm really excited. It's just a sweet little Christmassy romance. Gonna be drinking hot chocolates every time I crack it open, and I'm really looking forward to it. I just want to give you a short little synopsis about this book. basically the main character, Bailey, guess what she wants for Christmas? She just wants someone special to kiss under the mistletoe. Don't we all want that? Like, I just feel like this is gonna feel a little nostalgic for me too, because like this will be the type of books I used to read when I was really young, and honestly that's how you would feel, you know, because Christmas has such a romantic, magical feeling about it. I mean, that's why we all watch those corny movies, because it's just this romance magic in the air with Christmas time, and it just makes you feel like you want love. So I feel like I'm gonna be reading this and I'm gonna feel like 12-year-old Hailey again, being all like, I want someone special to like wear matching sweaters with, and now I'm married and I can't find any sweaters that match. Where do you guys find those? I'm really looking forward to the Christmas cheer that will bring this. The next book I'm still waiting to come in the mail for my Book of the Month Club, which is In a Holidaze by Christina and LaRue, which is two best friends who read books they write books together, but me and my friend Julia, we read them together. So she already read it. Very jealous. She got a copy, I think she had like an ebook or something. But I've been waiting for my copy to come in. I'm so excited to read it. Perfect Christmassy cheer. Got a fun little time loop happening in the plot. So looking forward to continuing that Christmassy vibe. But the next three books are not exactly Christmassy vibe, but I have been wanting to read them for so long, and I just want to get it done. We'll see. I probably won't. Undercover Bromance. I have the whole series, except for the most recent one, which has not been published yet, which I think is coming out in 2021, maybe summer 2021. But anyway, of course, I love the Bromance Book Club. This is the second, I think it's the Bromance Book Club, Undercover Bromance, and then it's Crazy Stupid Bromance. And then Isn't It Romantic is the one that'll be coming out next year. Pretty sure I have this in my October hopefuls. Did I get to it? Absolutely not. But here we are. I'm gonna try it again. People. We'll see. So to continue on with my love for Alice Hoffman, I got Magic Lessons in my Book of the Month Club last month. I just didn't read it. But I really hope to just sit down and do some marathon reading this month, because I have some vacation days. Hopefully I'll get some snow days. That would be nice too. But of course, this is like the prequel to the prequel. The prequel to the prequel. So the prequel to Practical Magic is The Rules of Magic, which is, I think, maybe about the ants or the mom. And then this one, which is a historical fiction, mind you, is about the very first Owens woman. I mean, not the first one, but it's about Maria Owens, you know, the OG witch of the family, the one that started the curse. So it's based on her life, which I think it's just going to be really interesting. I think it's going to be, of course, it's going to be lyrical and well written, and I'm just going to get absorbed into every word that is written by Miss Hoffman, and I can't wait. But I feel like the added setting of it being so long ago is going to make it feel a little more witchy vibes, you know, a little more like Salem-y vibes. So I'm really looking forward to this. So I really gotta make time for this one, because I just really want to read everything Alice Hoffman has written now that I finally cracked deeply into her books. So the next book that I really hope to read, again, I got it in my Book of the Month subscription, and again, not very Christmassy, but oh well. And it's The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I have heard amazing things about this. Again, it kind of has a magical vibe to it. So maybe more, the vibe I get from the descriptions is like a magical realism. So I find hope that it's really gonna have a really absorbing world that I can fall into. Does that make sense? Like when you find a book that's just so perfectly written that you really do escape to another world. I feel like this book is gonna be like that. I hope this book is gonna be like that. But everyone else seems to like it. Basically, Addie LaRue is kind of cursed. So very much kind of like a bit like this. She's cursed that no one remembers her. Until one day she meets someone who does. And there unfolds the entire plot. So, I found that cool. I like that premise. It's a very interesting curse, so I can't wait to see everything that goes along with that and how Addie LaRue has lived her life. Which I do believe she's almost like immortal as well, so that's part of the plague of her life. To just live forever and no one remember her. Like even like she'll meet someone and then like the next day like they don't even remember her at all. So I'm really hoping the magical vibes are there for that. So those are all the books I really hope to read. Let me know if you've read them or you're interested in any, or if you think I should add some to my TBR list that you feel might be a better fit for my December picks, or you think I just might like from everything else I've read, you know, or just like, dude, just talk to me. I'm bored. There's nothing here for me to do. It's not like I'm adventuring out in the world. It's a pandemic. Somebody talk to me, please. Anyway, if you guys want to talk books, if you want to keep this going, just, you know, hit that like button, subscribe to me, comment below, like let's chat. I'm down. All right, I'll see you all another time. Bye.